and you probably heard this story before, a lot of guys, Scotty and Kevin Belmont, probably Rich. I'm sure, your influence really rubbed off on a lot of us, you know. We might have thought we were copying at times, but we weren't doing, I wasn't doing a very good job on that. I look at pictures of the car that I did 30 years ago, and I look at them like, wow, that looks pretty good back then, and I look at it now, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
I had a lot to learn, you know, and the only difference was Dennis never started doing vinyl. I didn't. It was kind of out of necessity. I thought, because I'm not as good to brush as he is. I don't have as many people seeking me out for brushwork as he did. It got to the point where the way racing or trucks and so on, beyond racing, it's kind of what you have to do, unless you're Dennis.
As far as race cars, man, so who inspired you? Were there black painters before you? Were there race cars?
Well, race car lettering, I'm not saying that I was the beginning or end all of everything, but most race car lettering was done by sign painters. There were no race car letters. There were sign painters who lettered race cars.
Like William Scruggs?
Bill Scruggs, help me out here, Warren Birdsall in Flemington did all the signs for the Flemington Fairgrounds. He had a shop on the corner of North Main Street and 31, and wouldn't let me work with him, pissed me off. But he did all the signs for everybody in Flemington and for the fairgrounds, all those neat Victorian-looking signs. He was the guy. There was a guy up in Washington by the name of Stats, S-T-A-A-T-S, did a lot of Washington, Hampton area cars.
Was the guy in
Raritan, Two-Gun Oakley, all those kind of cars.
Whitey Witkowski?
Huh?
Whitey Witkowski?
Oh, yeah, there was Whitey. Everybody knew Whitey from the Somerville area.
There's a guy named Tom Backus.
Yeah, down by Trenton Morris.
I never knew who he was till somebody used to do Hayden's cars, Carberry.
That's 80s,
and cars all had the same look to them. I never knew until
those cars were beautiful.
Yeah.
Those soft drop shadows.
Oh, yeah, so nice.
Yeah.
That guy could do lettering. He was really good. And that's an example, or one of the best examples, of a sign painter who could letter a race car.
Did those cars inspire your style?
Oh yeah, oh yes, absolutely. But I think that the real inspiration was, if you go even back further, you got the guys who did the old midgets and sprint cars back in the day. When ARDC came to Flemington, you had all that gold leaf stuff. And those guys were amazing. Yeah. It's a classic thing. I don't care if the thing was done in 1930. It's in 2000, whatever it is, 12. It's still nice. So, good is good.
It's amazing looking at some of the old pictures of the old sprint cars and midgets. It's so perfect.
Oh yeah.
The Roman style lettering is so, everything's square and sharp, and you're looking at something that's 40, 50 years old.
The guy that did Bren's cars before me, I forget his name, was from Hillside. There was two brothers. And the gold leaf was exquisite. He had a garage by Ray Liss's shop. And even the early coupes, the same guy did that. Get those cars, and they were really nice. Holy cow! And then I came along, and they're going, can I do that? And, took a few cars to figure it out, but I figured I could. So.
Since you're talking about gold leaf, anything special about gold leaf as far as the material itself? I know it looks great when it's on the car.
Well, the whole idea of gold leaf now has been diluted. There's digital stuff, the printed stuff, which from here to there looks like gold leaf. And then they got the sign gold stuff, which looks like gold leaf from here to there. But I mean, the real stuff is actually sheets about Yovate of 22 karat gold. It's the real deal.
It's flimsier than tissue paper.
Yeah, in which you adhere to the truck or car that you're doing, and clean up the mess and clear it, outline it.
It's actually an art within an art. I mean, besides lettering. I mean,
Yeah, talk about a lost art.
It drives you nuts. We were just, I got some pictures of one that I did of gold leaf, you know.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Somebody asked me that long, you still do gold? I'm like, I don't even have stuff anymore. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It up and, you know, I mean.
Do you have to swirl it or something?
Yeah, you have to swirl it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you use.
After you adhere it on, basically right away before the underlayment gets dry, you take a piece of, I always made my own, piece of velvet, you wrap the velvet around a bunch of cotton balls and you make an arbor. And there's a goofy looking thing in there, you push and turn. And if you do it right, you can push as hard as you want and you won't screw it up. If you do it wrong, you rip it right off the car and you gotta start all over again.
There's a difference between paint. Paint, you screw something up, you can, you know.
You get one chance.
Pull a lip in it and go back over, but gold leaf, you gotta start it.
No.
Which that's what most ever.
Well, when it's done right, there's nothing really that quite looks like it. It's beautiful. I've done a few modifieds like that, and I'm saying, why did I do that? You know, all right.
Why did they make that? It's a better question. Why did they make that?
Exactly. Hey, you got the money, go ahead.
I got a question for you guys. One of the legendary sign painter stores on race cars had it on the West Coast that the guy was doing a car for this up-and-coming West Coast sprint car driver and dribbled some paint when they were doing the guy's middle name. The guy was Rufus Parnell Jones. He became Parnelli because the guy dribbled the paint and he wouldn't take it off. He thought it was a better name, and that stuck with him. Either one of you guys ever have a kind of experience like that where based on something that happened, something else was created?
You mean spelled something wrong?
Yeah, let's go there. Did you ever do something for somebody that you delivered the car and there was something that was spelled wrong?
I had to drive back down to Delaware because I spelled something wrong. And the guy was really mad because it was his main sponsor, and I'm like, I didn't see it. I'm like, he sat here and watched me do it, you know, and then he called me up 2 days later, and I'm like, yeah.
Was that Eugene Mills?
No, not that big. Yeah, of course, it couldn't have been across town. It had to be in Delaware. I've been to Delaware twice to do lettering, and that happened to spell something wrong.
Yeah, I was doing several cars for a guy named Leonard Zito. And he's now a judge.
Charlie, that.
Mike's was right upstate New York.
He's a great customer, and I think it was, he had a King car, and I think it was the King car that I was doing.
Upstate New York.
And he had the great idea of putting all the names, he had his crew, and then the girlfriend or wife of the crew member, and the kids, and grandkids and grandpa, I don't know, the whole trunk list is full of names. And so I got them all on there, and he loved it. You know, I had like the scales of justice thing up there, you know. All right, so I go home, and Bangor to Lockdown is too close, so I get home, phone rings. You gotta come back. What do you mean? I just left. They just got home. He says, well, you forgot a name. I said, Leonard, I just got home. He says, there's a war here. You got to come back. So I forgot somebody's name. And it was like a main person.
He forgot.
He forgot. What made you? So I went back. I said, Leonard, it's going to cost you. I don't care. So I went back. And I saved the day, I guess.
Either of you have a favorite car that you did that you look at that car and you're like, wow.
One of probably most recognizable probably is Brian Quinlan's number 12. I still keep hearing the comments about that 30-some years later. And it was mostly Brian's, you know, I mean, car was already gold and red when I got there, and so I wanted to make it look like the Coca-Cola number 12. In fact, he was trying to get Coca-Cola to sponsor him, but, you know, so I'm like, okay. You know, it wasn't that hard to do because he had the idea already what he wanted. You know, he just, you know, wanted it to, you know, it worked out good, you know. It's like, you probably actually see years ago in your head, you'd lettered probably hundreds more than I have.
No, it's awful hard. I mean,
I know it is.
I can name cars that you people have them never seen because they have never seen a racetrack that I really like. They never raced.
Name 'em.
For whatever reason. Brent had a car in 81 or 2 after the...
Is that the Syracuse car?
Yep.
Nobody ever saw that car. That was pretty. Nobody has a picture that I know of. It was scrap. Neat race car. I did a car for Larry Grolsman. A lot of cars for Larry Grolsman. And that was back when, same era, when after the Batmobile, everybody tried to make aerodynamic race cars. Well, that lasted one night because it was banned. Billy Cannon had a car, the same deal. After a half a year, they said, don't go back. So he had to put a new body on it. Hardly anybody saw that car. They're like mystery cars. I did a car for Fred Orchard that was a late model. Did the car all up, and then soon thereafter he got the A1 sponsorship. That car never was seen, ever. I don't think anybody ever saw that race car because we repainted everything to the A1. Nice car. So those things, are like mystery cars.
Dennis, you had mentioned Syracuse 81 when the Batmobile came out, and then everybody scurried to reskin their cars and everything. Did you get a call or anything, or Rick? Did you get a call to go up there and re-letter anything?
I started thinking maybe I should take my stuff along, but that never happened again. We got there Friday. I saw the car, and then Saturday everybody had new bodies. I'm like, who lettered these things?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not the door that was there yesterday. It's not the roof that was there. Somebody lettered these things. Besides, it was like really great work. I thought for not only both the bodies, but like Brett Bill's car, he only had 2 doors, and they were both the same. Same guy lettered it. So apparently he was there with his stuff, but.
Either one of you guys have clients that were so exasperating or demanding that you just decided, I can't work with this guy anymore?
I have them now.
I have some like that, but I never told them. I just kind of keep it. One of those deals. You think you're done. Hey, one more thing. One more. There's nowhere to put anything. Or it should have went there, and this could have went over there. There are some that get on your nerves. Every year, and
I got the guys that I keep telling myself as the day goes on, I'm not married to this guy. I'm not going home with him. Anybody can put up with anybody for a day, and it's over. So
I ask you one. Do you ever have? You go letter somebody's car, and it's like they invited everybody they know to sit there in a lawn chair and watch you all day?
Oh, there's good and bad thing about that. Because if there's a lot of guys, there's usually beer. No, that's not what you think. And as the day goes on, everybody's drinking. Now, I don't drink, really. It's all done. And you get really good tips from drunk people. So the drunker they are, the more money you make.
There were times where I'd show up and there'd be an owner, driver, whoever he is, and his brother, and his mom or his dad, and then people just kept stopping by. Next thing you know, there's like 12 people lined up in a lawn chair. They're all sitting there, all asking you questions. And then this one time, he was there. He started drinking around noon, and I was there, and and the more he drank, the louder he got, the more he talked. And I couldn't wait to get to the other side of the car. And he's like, never move the chair. Thank God. A little bit less, and they do, They like to sit and drink and watch the live race.
After a while you learn you don't do one on a Saturday. That's no. And then you start to tell people, okay, I'm going to go there on Thursday, but you tell everybody I'm coming on Friday, and then nobody's there. It's pretty cool.
How about you get there and the guy you're supposed to letter wasn't there?
I drove all the way to Olson Shop one time. Had the wrong dad.
I did one 15 years ago. I ran a big diamond and where else? hey, I'll be there at 8:30, and I'm kind of got like an inner clock. If I say I'm going to be, I seem like I get there within 5 minutes of 5 minutes of 8. So driving on up, here's a race car, and garage isn't open.
Yeah.
Went down to the house there and banged on the door, and watched for his. And this place had there's 5 race cars in it. There's chicken coop converted into a garage. 2 modified, 2 street stocks, and a mini sets. And then there went. Banged on this guy's door. Well, got him modified. He didn't even know me. But we're still racing. Here to learn what's his name's car. Oh. He was out drinking last night. And okay. And while in the garage, in the garage, I put my stuff in and I start wiping the car down. And then an hour later he shows up and he's like, "You said 8 o'clock, I didn't expect you till 11, you guys never show up on time." Time trainer. So I'm like, well, I'm here, and that's ironic. Phil Long, was talking to him in Reading last week, and he says, "We were just talking about you." I should introduce myself, but I let her one car for him. And he says, "Yeah, we were talking." He says, "These sign painters never show up on time." He says, "No, Rick Shive does. He's always there when he's there." Well, you're probably talking about the guy that got out of bed that Saturday morning. But yeah, he showed up. He was all hungover and didn't get home until he just got home a couple hours before that.
Yeah. I drove to Middletown, New York one time, and to do a car for a guy named Schwendeman, Ron Schwendeman.
Yep.
13 cars.
Yep.
I don't think he was still. He's crazy.
Him and Danny Mitchell.
So.
Ronnie or Carl Schweitzman? Carl was nuts, the real.
Well, maybe that was
Carl was the owner.
Carl, okay, it was for Carl.
Yeah.
And he had
He
a
was a
Texas
psycho, yeah.
station, not far from the Speedway.
Yeah, that's
So I drive all the way up there, and I get there, and ain't nobody there. And the Indian guy, whatever, he don't know where he is. So here I am in Middletown. Just took 2 hours to drive up there. And I'm just about ready to leave. And Carl, this guy comes flying in the driveway with his El Camino, sideways, and falls out of the car. He's drunk as hell. I just remembered you were coming. So we got to entertain that, me and Carl.
Get good tips?
No, they all wore off by the end.
You guys did all this stuff by hand. How do you feel about the developments that are taking place now, where everything is, vinyl and?
Like I said, I do vinyl, just because I get pointed out. I'm not. I guess you would call it caliber, or I can make it vinyl as paint. I made, let me see, 13, 14 years ago. I said if I'm going to have to keep lettering race cars and trucks, I'm going to have to start doing vinyl. I think if you started out doing things in paint, you do a better job at it because you know how to design, you know what looks good. I had a discussion with somebody, another sign painter, I forget who it was, one day, a while back from there. You already know what looks good. You didn't just like buy a machine and like, okay, here's what the numbers got to be. And you can kind of tell, you can look at a car and you can tell if this person that did it is familiar with race cars, ever did it before with paint, and I'm like, I get really nitpicky with, the machine I got and the software I got now, I can not really draw the number, but I can manipulate it to, I did one for a guy a little while ago. I actually was able to make the number the same as when I painted his car several years ago. And I'm like that real nitpicky with it, click and drag, looks good, no, it doesn't, go back. Whereas, somebody that never did that, they're just going to go with whatever's font on the computer, and you can do that, a good looking job, but you've got to know what you're looking to end up with. You can just slap any of the lettering out, but it might not look like it fits right.
Right, exactly.
With paint, you can easily, you got a yardstick and you follow lines, it's like they all fit. With a computer, then you got it's kind of a pain in the ass with a computer because you can't just yardstick up,
Right, yeah, well, I've never had a computer. I am functionally illiterate with a computer. I just got back from Colorado visiting my son, who is a computer programmer. So he says I'm hopeless, so I'll take his word for it.
I bet he can he let her?
No.
All right. Don't worry about it.
So, I don't know, I got mixed feelings about it. It's, I'm not dumb enough to think that you can just keep painting stuff, because you can't. I just, by not using a computer, I'm trying to make myself unique. If I can be the last one standing, that's cool. I'll be done anyway. So, I just keep what I'm doing. If people are calling, I'm booked up for a month, so who the hell needs a computer?
Well, speaking of that, I saw David Van Horn's car up at the mall. Beautiful, you know.
Thank you.
The only vinyl I could find on it was on the just a piece that, for the front of the roof. He had put some vinyl on there, I think, for one sponsor or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm going around the car like actually trying to figure out what paint.
Well, that's okay. You know, the Spark's name is paint he has to do anyhow. So he can use that.
But other than David's car, any other cars might come to mind that'll be racing locally, New Egypt, Middletown, Bridgeport, or something that's painted?
Well, I got to do tomorrow is Stephen Reed's car, Wall Stadium, 55.
Is it blue again? With
The blue at 55. I'm assuming they haven't changed for 25 years. So I don't think they're going to change.
Nice cars.
I did that 704 car that's at the mall, the late model, which was kind of cool. I've never done one of those before.
Trent Mack.
Yeah, and that was, I got to give a shout out to Bill Nemec.
Yeah, because you did.
Yeah, see, Bill Nemec was originally supposed to do that car because he did most of the Trent Mack cars other than the one that I did. Mike Shea didn't like.
Which one did you do?
Huh?
Which one did you do? Which Kenny Mack car?
One of the first ones that Kenny Brent drove.
King car.
Was it the copper car? Or was it like the
Nah, it was
color?
Silver and
tan.
tan and brown, yeah.
He didn't like that?
No. The Ford, instead of having a, all right, a bit technical here.
Okay.
It's diagonal to the center, where the part of the Ford that comes down at an angle.
Yeah.
According to Mike Shea of Trent Mack, that's supposed to be straight. And I made it curved.
Mike's never wrong.
Hell no, of course he's not wrong. And I said, well, it's a Ford, I'm not changing it. So I never worked for Mike again.
An argument over a 4.
Yeah, that was like you do the so it kind of looks like
Yeah, I got
almost like a parasite shape.
there you go. So I started doing that with Brent's car with the Fords, and I kind of liked it. I got a little carried away with the roundness a little bit sometimes, because then it didn't look like a Ford. So whatever, that's technical stuff. But yeah, that's okay.
Did you ever letter a car and first time out it was been totally destroyed?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right in front of me.
Any come to mind?
George Oliver, did you let her do it?
Yeah.
Did you rep one of them first time?
Oh yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
That's good for business.
No, I hated that. I really did. I said, once is enough. I don't want to do this thing again. You know, because usually if it was a professional race team, you did it twice a year. You did it at the beginning of the year, and then you did it again for Syracuse. That was twice. And that's all I wanted to see those guys, is twice. But I've been, you know, if you go to Flemington, cars get wrecked.
Every week,
so
yeah.
Very often, right in front of your face. And I did a car for Jimmy Brent one time. I don't know what car, a little Brent for. Did it on Friday. And I'm sitting in the stands, we're turning high stands next to the grandstand there. Sure as shit, boom, and all junk. I got up and I went home. I couldn't take it. I said, they're calling on Tuesday, I gotta go back.
I did one, Fred, Jeff Kenny's your uncle?
Yes.
Okay. George Oliver's younger brother John, drove a late model. Probably Flemington's first year late models. I did it on a Saturday morning. Jeff drove it. Well, I was still lettering it while they were pushing it on the trailer. And I get to the track, and they run warm-ups, and there's a big smear where the yellow number. Well, Jeff kicked it with his heel, getting in the car, still wet. So I was like, damn. Busy Friday night, so I had to do it Saturday morning, you know. Didn't wreck it, but it just, wrecked the paint job. You ever been like this, they've ever tell you to hurry up and get done so they put on track?
Well, I used to have guys that would call me on a Saturday, and they say, can you go to the racetrack a little early?